I want to talk to you a little bit about the wisdom in the Bible concerning two topics, anger and then pride. So these are two negatives. The first one is anger. It says, whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. Folly is another word for foolishness, and what the scripture is telling us here is that you need to be slow to become angry, and if you get angry quickly, you're going to end up looking and acting like a fool. Here's another verse. A hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger quiets arguments or contention. Here's another one. Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit, who can control his spirit, who can be patient, is better than he who takes a city. Now, these scriptures are talking about how a hot-tempered person, a person who gets angry and can't control it, they really get themselves into a lot of trouble. And again, wisdom from Proverbs. I think I want to look at one more verse that talks a little bit about, actually two more verses that talk about anger. Good sense makes one slow to anger. So if you can just slow down when something happens and gets you angry, if you can just slow down and not be quick to get angry, you have good sense. And it says, and it is a person's glory to overlook an offense. Last verse on anger. A man of great wrath will pay the penalty. When we have a problem with a temper, we're going to have consequences. For if you deliver him, when you bail someone out, a person that has a great wrath, gets angry, you deliver him, you'll only have to do it again. So what we're seeing here in the Proverbs is we're being told the importance of not being a person that's hot-tempered and given to anger. Now, I want to go to another passage of Scripture in the New Testament. I've been in Proverbs talking about these things, but in James is like the New Testament book of wisdom. Here's what James tells us about anger. He says, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not achieve the righteous things that God desires. So we're seeing some wisdom here that really has to do with not being a person given to anger. Now I want to look at one more topic today. I want to talk to you about pride. It says here in Proverbs, pride goes before destruction. In other words, when a person is given to pride, they're moving towards destruction, and a haughty or a proud spirit before a fall. Now, we're being warned here of the importance of dealing with pride, because when you and I become proud, it's leading us towards destruction, towards negative things. Here's another verse. Before destruction, a man's heart is proud, but humility comes before honor. Now listen, the opposite of pride is humility. And we can live a life being proud, taking credit for all the things that come our way, or we can choose to be humble and to be able to defer, to give others the credit for the things that we do. One more verse on pride from Proverbs. Do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? Would you say that's pride? A man who's wise, a man who says, wow, I'm a really smart guy. I'm really the top. Do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. So a person may be very capable and very great at doing a lot of things, but when they allow pride to sink in, when they are wise now in their own eyes, they start patting themselves on the back, it says there's more hope for a fool than that person. I want to go back to the book of James, front to the book of James. It's in the New Testament, and he has something to say about pride. James says that God opposes those of us who are proud, but he gives grace to those of us who are humble. Grace is God's favor, and God pours his grace upon us when we're humble. When we're proud, he actually opposes us, because pride sets itself up in some ways against God. So he says, God opposes the proud, he gives grace to the humble, therefore humble yourself before God. So we are told wisdom in the scriptures is when we fight off pride and we humble ourselves so that God then can lift us up. I hope this is helpful. God bless you.